Hi there, it's Alyssa from Domestic Heights. So today I'm going to show you how to make a layered paper rose. I made a few different rose designs, and this one is different because it is done in layers as opposed to rolled or by individual petals. So here I've already cut out the different layers with cardstock. I like to use a medium weight cardstock for this project. It flexes a little bit better, usually around 60 to 65 pounds per meter squared, I believe. And I also have a little scraping device here to help sort of curl the petals. And then I'm also going to use a hot glue gun because there's a lot of layers to this flower, and if you use any other kind of glue, it takes too long and it's going to take an entire day to make just one flower. So this particular design I cut with my Cricut cutting machine, but it's simple enough that you could do this by hand with just a pair of scissors. But here we'll just skip right to the part where we're assembling the flower because we'll just make that part go a little faster. So I want to curl the smallest pieces first, and these will all be curled in the same way, in which is I want to create sort of like a curvature so that when the petal stands up, it curves inwards. So you just scrape along the center. So you do that for basically all of them except for the biggest two. You do a little curl along the edge here. So I want to get around to doing that next, but first I just want to start some of the gluing first because it can take a couple of minutes for the glue to set. And so what I want to do is start with the centermost piece. And this one we want to create the most, we want this to be the most enclosed. So this is sort of the center bulb. So all you have to do is apply a little glue and hold it there for a second. Yeah, there we go. Okay. A little too much glue, but that's okay. I still need to work on my glue gun management skills. End up creating all these little strings. So you just want to hold that for a second. Sometimes I get a little lazy and I will add a rubber band, but you only have to hold this only happens if you apply too much glue. So if you use the right amount of glue, then it will dry much faster. Okay, yeah, we're good there. Okay, so this next layer, let's fold the base a little bit more. So I like to do, I like to make the petals go in the same direction, just create some order, at least within each layer. So you just make sure this still fits, yeah. This last one, let's Last one may require. Yep, that's fine. Be careful not to pinch too hard or you might burn yourself. Put that there off to the side. And then on to the next layer. Try not to use too much glue. Ow, ow. Okay, I have to warn you, with this particular flower, unless you're like an expert glue gun user, you are most likely going to burn your fingers. So just be prepared for that. All right, at this point, I start assembling the flower. Try to offset sort of the curvature a little bit. Wrong one. Oops. Oops. Okay. If it wasn't for that little snafu, I would have minimized the little strings even more, but that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna get that moment to dry. I didn't quite finish curling this one. Actually, we're just gonna curl these for now. Okay, so with the last two pieces, you wanna do the same curl here, as in bend the petal inwards so that's concave. But then you also wanna create a little flare on the outside edges. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So concave along the vertical line and then flared out for the outer edges. Did I do that? No way. Okay, so the last three biggest layers, I like to layer glue as I layer. So sort of inject a little glue there, inject a little glue there. Ow. Here we go again. All right, hold that in place. Hold that in place. Hold that in place. So I challenge you to make this flower with hot glue gun without all these little strings. You can always clean this up after the fact, but they still kind of annoy me while I'm working on it. Okay, let's put that down for a second. Bend the petals inwards just ever so slightly. So here, at this point, I'm going to apply a little dab of glue on the base. hold that in place. Hold that in place. So the reason to make a layer of flower as opposed to a rolled flower or individual petal rows is because it is a nice compromise between control of the offset of the petals, and it's not super slow, like you're not gluing each individual petal on individually. So it's a nice compromise between the two design patterns types. Excellent. Okay, so same thing with this last layer. Add a little dab of glue. That looks like a nice little offset. Normally I would wait a little bit longer between sort of attaching the additional layers, but since I'm making this tutorial, I don't want to make everyone literally make you watch glue dry. So it's not quite as bad as watching paint dry, but it's pretty high up there. There you go. Okay, so as you might see on the side here, I have a little rubber band, so I'm totally cheating here. I don't feel like holding this, so I'm just gonna attach the little rubber band for the time being and have it set. Have it hold it in place while it's setting.